right, let's talk about profits. All right, this is an acronym. Make it easy on you. P is for our process, evaluation, implementation, and execution. R is for recruiting for success. We're going to stop hiring for failure. O, we need to optimize our fixed operations. Fixed operations represents 72% net to gross. Okay, it's critical that we optimize our fixed operations. F, financial analysis. This is one of the most difficult things new business owners, even long-term business owners have, is being able to analyze their financial statements, being able to produce one that's readable both to them and to others. You need to be able to read a financial analysis, financial statement, and you got to be an assassin at it. Okay, I, inventory. I don't care what business you're in, specifically the automobile business, you need to know your inventory inside and out and upside and down. And I don't just mean what you have, but what you should have. What's selling? Look, if you've sold something, it's one thing to sell it, it's another thing to understand how quick it's sold, what are the profit margins on it selling, average turn, how many of those specifically, and then going into your CRM and seeing how many leads do you have on it, right? So if you sold something today and you look in there and there's 5-6 more leads on it, then you should probably replace it, right? It makes sense to do that. T is for target marketing, advertising, branding, right? We want to make sure that we are targeting our marketing efforts. We want to understand how we can begin to invest this money and stop looking at marketing, advertising, and branding as an expense, but an actual ROI, a return on our investment. And S, real simple. We're going to strategize for success. Right? We're going to take all of those, we're going to make sure that we're strategizing. Now you can decide, do you want to break these down and do one of them per day, working 6 days a week? Maybe you combine 2 of them together, working 5 days a week. However you want to go about doing it, but these 6 things, the 7th is to strategize, and I'm going to strategize on every single one of them. So these 6 things have to get done every single week at a bare minimum at least once. So let's start with the P. This is your processes, okay? You need to be able to evaluate first. What do I mean by evaluate? Well, let's look at some of the things that are the most important. If I am doing a good job, let's say, targeting my marketing and I'm producing leads, if I have spent millions of dollars on a location, on a building, on a brand, and I have consumers coming to me, first thing I need to be doing is looking at, evaluating the process of the incoming lead. Okay, this starts with when somebody hits your website, when somebody hits your lot, what are they seeing? Okay, what does it look like? What does it look like to you? When you drive into your dealership, what do you see? What do your eyes immediately go to? Is there trash around? Are things not parked properly? What does it actually look like? And then, let's take your website for a second. Same thing. What does your website look like? When I go onto your website, what do I actually see? I got to put my glasses on. It's killing the eye. So what do I actually see on your website? What I mean by that is, does it make sense? I know a lot of times we'll have things on there and they'll kind of be mumbled jumbled together, like, what are my call to actions? And are they unanimous with or across the board with every, maybe I have multiple dealerships, or I can go from page to page and sometimes the call to actions aren't the same. And I believe you should have, 3 separate call to actions and, get my best price, get qualified for a loan, and value my trade are the 3 most popular. Those should be on your website every single time. If you don't have those 3 call to actions, you're missing business. Second, a lot of times people will discount the price of a vehicle and not show that discount. That is critical to show people the discount that you're actually giving them on a vehicle. Guys, these are the processes that I'm just evaluating. Real simple. The leads coming in, the person's walking in, what are they seeing? Right? How is it when I hit your website How long does it take for me to submit a lead versus it actually hitting your CRM? You know, is that 30 seconds? Is it 30 minutes? Is it 3 hours? I hit a dealership, unfortunately, the other day, and we were doing this time trial. It was 13 hours. Now, of course, the CRM vendor blames the the internet provider. The internet provider is so big they don't really care. But the reality is what you have to do is you have to know what's going on and then make it a big deal. And what I mean by that is maybe you can't change it. You know, we screamed from the rooftops. Everybody there was calling and making a big deal out of it. And guess what? It did get handled. So whether it was the CRM or whether it was the internet provider, we don't know, because we just called and we were screaming at everybody in order for us to get it fixed. And of course, our lead time went way down. It went from 13 hours to 4 minutes. So it does make a big difference. But it's critical that we evaluate our processes. Now, once that lead has come in and we actually have that lead, okay, it's hit us, we're looking at it, what are we saying? When the customer phones in, what are we saying? When the customer walks in, what are we saying? Is it unanimous across the board? Again, does everybody say the same thing, or do they do whatever they want? Do they say whatever comes to their mind? Maybe you've got somebody that's been there a long time and they've been saying the same thing forever, and they say that. Maybe you got somebody who's brand new and doesn't know what to say, so they say that. I mean, it's amazing to think what people might be saying. Then, what about when they call in? What do we say when they call in? I mean, this to me is the easiest of the three to get down. I don't know, the internet may not be so hard either, because we can actually can the email and make it very simple to be followed. But we have to understand that when somebody calls in, we're reading a script. Now, granted, we have to have read that script so many times that it doesn't sound like we're reading a script, but we should have dialed in very specifically what that person's going to say when they call in. Then, like I said, the internet lead, what's being said? Well, we should be able to go into our CRM and actually can out exactly what we want said. All right, so those are the first three places I'm going to look. Right, of course I said, hey, when how does it look when the consumer hits your lot? How does it look when the consumer calls you? How does it look when the consumer emails you? Right, meaning your website, your vehicles, how does everything look? Then the second thing is, what do we say? And we didn't talk about what you say when they walk into the lot, but again, that should be universal, unanimous. Everybody should be saying the same thing. Everybody should be singing from the same choir. You know, the marketing message, the menu should match the food. All right, so if we're going to preach something in our marketing, in our branding, when somebody comes into our lot, it should sound the same. When somebody phones in, it should sound the same. When somebody emails in, it should sound the same. That takes work and effort. That's going to take evaluating that process and making sure that it's getting done right. And then the next step is going to be, okay, now we've got to implement that process. What does implementation mean? It means we're going to put it into play. We're going to go through the adult learning process, which is tell me, show me, let me do it myself, redirect me, rinse and repeat. What did I say there at the end? Rinse and repeat, meaning we just keep doing it. We don't stop. We're going to rinse and repeat until the tell me, show me, let me do it myself, redirect me, rinse and repeat. We're just going to keep doing that on every aspect until that locks and loads in people's brain. They don't make any mistakes. We don't want them thinking in the moment that a customer comes in. We want them reacting. And how do we want them to react? In the way that we train them to react. So the training, the implementation is key to this. Dialing in exactly what they're going to say, how they're going to say it, when they're going to say it. That is implementation. All right. The next step, execution. We want to be able to execute on these things. What does that mean? Well, if I've implemented, meaning I've trained and trained and trained, tell me, show me, let me do it myself, redirect me. Okay, rinse and repeat that until we've got it dialed into their brain. Well, then the next step is to execute, and execution is following up with that. Execute is secret shopping. Execute is making sure that they're doing the things that you expected them to do. Please, just take a minute and give yourself, a fake, not even a fake, but it's going to be a real Google email and a real Google phone number, but make it so that person has to call in, or, you call in and give them that number and they have to call back to you, they have to email back to you, and take a look at it. Granted, they probably know your number and they definitely know your name, so you can't use those things, but you can use a fake name. You can use a number that, like I said, is a Google Voice number. You can use a new Google Gmail, and then you can, begin to cycle those emails and find out what your people are saying, because you're secret shopping them. Guys, secret shop your competitors. Secret shop the enemy. Find out what they're saying. Find out how bad they are or how good they are. Secret shop the best and the worst so you can see what they actually do. But take the time to make sure that we're executing. Walk up to one of your people and ask them, hey, when somebody phones in, what do you say? I always said when the phone would ring, I'd go ring, ring, and the first thing they would have to do in order just to get it through their head is they'd have to at least pretend like they were grabbing the call script, right? The first thing they would do is, got it, good, all right, thank you for calling, my name is, and you are, wonderful, what vehicle were you calling on? Fantastic, by chance do you have that still up in front of you? And then again, we're going through the rest of the script. But guys, they should have this thing memorized, kind of like what I was showing you there, but on the top of it, it's okay if they read through it to keep them dialed in and in line. When they're on the lot, they don't have that opportunity. They don't get to go through their flashcards, but we've already made them the flashcards, so they're dialed in. We know that they're going to do it, and then we're going to test them. We're going to execute on that process. We're going to ask them to do an early manager intro, an EMI every single time. And when the manager walks over, we walk up to them and we say, hey, did they tell you about why you want to do business with us? Did they give you our brand value story? Or whatever is in your sales process, have the manager make sure that they're going and actually verifying that that's what they're saying. That is execution. All right, guys, this is process. I've gone on for more than 10 minutes now. I just want to make sure that you understand the first step in making profits, and that's process. I'm Jonathan. I'm the one-eyed guy. This is Jackson Partners. Reach out. We'll make sure you guys got it dialed in, no problem.